Today we're going to talk about strategies for saving and preserving the money you'll need to fund your retirement and leave a lasting legacy for your heirs. Most people are aware that it's important to save for a comfortable retirement. In this discussion, we'll give you some ideas how to do that and what to do to plan for your retirement savings to last. There are three main phases. First is planning and saving. In other words, accumulating enough assets to have a comfortable retirement while taking care of your family. The second phase, managing retirement income, talks about ways to preserve assets to make sure your money lasts for the rest of your life. And third, transferring wealth addresses distribution of your assets for income purposes during retirement and to your heirs after you're gone. Let's start with planning and saving, which is what most baby boomers have been concerned with for the past 20 years. We'll begin by taking a look at how much money people expect to need during retirement. The vast majority of investors estimate, or maybe even guess, that they'll need to save less than $1 million. And more than a quarter put the figure under $250,000. As you can see, these people are underestimating the amount they'll need. How much will you need to maintain your current standard of living in retirement? Consider these benchmarks. To replace $50,000 of income over a 25-year retirement, you'll need nearly $900,000, assuming a 6% rate of return on the savings and a 3% rate of inflation. If your current income is $100,000, you're probably used to a higher standard of living and you'll need $1.8 million to maintain it. To help save money you'll need in retirement, it's important to take advantage of tax-sheltered plans available to you. These include your employer's retirement plan, a traditional IRA, and a Roth IRA. As you can see, each type of plan has specific limits on the contributions you can make each year. You're probably already familiar with an employer's retirement plan and a traditional IRA, but you may not know as much about a Roth IRA. Unlike traditional IRA, contributions to a Roth IRA are not tax deductible. In other words, these contributions are made with after-tax money. However, any money that has been in a Roth IRA for at least 5 years can be withdrawn tax-free as long as the account owner has reached age 59 and a half. Withdrawals can also be made tax-free in the event of a death or disability, or when used to buy a house for the first time. In addition, a Roth IRA does not require you to begin taking distributions at age 70 and a half. Does it make sense to convert your traditional IRA to a Roth? Here are some things to consider. Do you expect to pay less taxes during retirement? If you're in a high tax bracket today and expect to be in a lower bracket in the future, a Roth IRA may not be a good option. Do you expect overall tax rates to increase in the future? Current ordinary income tax rates are low compared to historic levels. If you think tax rates are likely to increase in the future, converting assets to a Roth IRA may make sense today. Are you interested in passing more assets to your heirs? Since a Roth IRA does not require minimum distributions, more funds remain in your account to pass along to your heirs. Would you like the option of tax-free income in retirement? A Roth gives you a source of tax-free income you can draw upon in retirement. Some remaining considerations. Current taxes. Make sure you have the funds available outside of a retirement account to pay for any taxes due at conversion. If your traditional IRA already contains after-tax contributions, converting to a Roth may be a good idea since a portion of the conversion will not be taxable. Partial conversion. Consider converting only part of your traditional IRA to reduce your current tax bill. Earlier access. A Roth IRA gives you the flexibility to withdraw contributions first without taxes or penalty. Now let's review the key components in planning and saving phase. It's important to speak with your advisor about ways to save as much as you can for retirement, the potential benefits of a Roth IRA, contributing to a 529 college savings plan, and how to avoid the alternative minimum tax. Now that we've discussed a few strategies for accumulating assets for your retirement, let's talk about making your money last during retirement. Everyone hopes to have a long and happy retirement, but obviously the longer you live, the more money you'll need to support your lifestyle. To cover just the basic expenses, food, housing, and healthcare, you'll need about $265,000 for 10 years and $460,000 for 20 years. If you're fortunate enough to live 30 years after you retire, you'll need more than $650,000. Remember, these figures just represent basic expenses in retirement. The assets you'll need in retirement may be considerably higher depending on your lifestyle and financial objectives. How much of that money can you expect to get from Social Security? There's a lot of talk about whether this program will be around and what it will look like in the future as baby boomers start to retire. It faces several significant challenges as a result of a huge demographic shift in this country. It's really a three-part story. First, seniors are living longer in retirement and therefore are receiving Social Security benefits for a longer period of time than previous generations. Second, we've got a huge wave of baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964 that will start to reach retirement age in the next several years. The first of them will turn 62 in 2008. If nothing changes, we'll be eligible to start receiving at least partial benefits. And the third, there's the baby bust that started in the trailing years of the baby boom when birth rates started declining. In fact, they've stayed low ever since. So what you end up with is a smaller labor force supporting more and more retirees. The Social Security Administration states that if nothing changes, benefits owed will exceed taxes collected in 2018, and the trust fund will be exhausted in 2014. We all know that this is highly unlikely, but what's more likely to happen is one or more of the following. Payroll taxes can be increased to maintain current benefit levels. Benefits can be decreased or delayed. Other tax revenue can be used to fund Social Security benefits. The system can be changed to a more defined contribution-style voluntary savings account, which is essentially partial privatization. You can expect a lot of discussion on the topic of Social Security over the coming years, and it's likely to get very political. Regardless of the outcome, you should not be planning on Social Security as a primary basis for your retirement income, but it can and should be part of your retirement income plan. Given the uncertainty surrounding Social Security, it's even more important to make other sources of retirement income last as long as possible. First, let's identify what these other sources of income are. How should you go about managing your retirement income? As we discussed, you should first identify your own sources of income. Plan your withdrawals to make your savings last throughout your retirement, and explore the benefits of a rollover IRA. The third phase is transferring your wealth after you're gone. Let's look at a few things you can do to preserve as much of your estate as possible for your heirs. First, everyone should consider developing an estate plan. If you can answer yes to even one of the questions listed here, and just about everybody can, you need to have an estate plan. The biggest risk of not having an estate plan is that your estate won't be distributed the way you want after you're gone. If you die intestate, which means dying without a will or dying without a will that disposes of all property, you can be sure your wishes won't be fulfilled. When someone dies intestate, his or her property is transferred by state law, which may or may not be the way the decedent would have liked. Estate planning puts you in control. As you're setting up your estate plan, it's important to do what you can to maximize the amount of your estate that goes to your heirs and minimize the amount that is claimed by the government through taxes. The unlimited marital deduction lets you transfer property to a surviving spouse tax-free. Be sure to keep your beneficiary information updated for your life insurance, your IRAs, and your employer's retirement plan. Don't allow these assets to be left to your estate. Stretching the life of your IRA, which we'll discuss in more detail in a moment, can help your beneficiaries prolong the benefits of tax deferral. Also, a living trust and a bypass trust are two ways to protect your estate from unnecessary taxes. Finally, you can help reduce the size of your estate and therefore the amount that's subject to estate tax. Two ways to do this are a 529 college savings plan and a gift to a charitable organization. Let's talk a little more about stretching the life of your IRA. A great way to extend your IRA's tax deferral benefits after you're gone is by creating something called, appropriately, a stretch IRA. A stretch IRA is designed for someone who can fund retirement without using all the IRA assets. It allows a beneficiary to stretch the required distribution over his or her own lifetime and therefore provides the longest allowable period of tax deferral. As a result, it reduces the short-term tax burden on the beneficiary. This example shows how a $200,000 IRA can continue to grow and benefit from tax deferral long after the initial owner dies, and produces over $3 million in distributions before it's fully withdrawn. Let's review the transferring wealth phase. Be sure to talk to your advisor about whether you need an estate plan and how to get started. Find out more about the Stretch IRA and how it can offer significant tax advantages to your beneficiary. And consider a 529 college savings plan as a way not only to help fund college education, but also protect a substantial amount of your estate. A financial advisor should be the quarterback for everything we've talked about, to help you with accumulating, preserving, and distribution of your assets. Your advisor can help determine which insurance and/or investment vehicles are right for you, given your age, your financial situation, and your desire to preserve your assets for the benefit of others. Estate planning clearly is not a do-it-yourself project. Your accountant should work in tandem with your financial advisor to make sure you're capturing all the tax benefits available. It's important to have a team member familiar with the tax code. An experienced lawyer will help you prepare legal documents you need to plan your estate, including a will, power of attorney, and trust. Most estate planning experts recommend a team of at least 3 individuals to handle the legal, tax, and financial aspects of your estate. We've covered a lot of ground today, so be sure to consult your advisor about the topics that are most relevant to you. The important thing is time, not timing. So start now and remember, your financial advisor is there, working for you to help you succeed.